Hello and welcome to part 11 of putting Wagoneer Dana 44s under my Jeep Cherokee XJ. This update is not so much of an update of work done, but more of an update of the status of the project, I suppose you could say. The only thing I really did at the end of last season before it turned to winter was I put the axles back together, because when I had brought them to the shop that did the re-gear for me, I had taken them apart, I had pulled the carriers myself, I had took all the brakes off, I pulled the axle shafts myself, took the pinions out myself to save a little bit of time and labor, and of course when I got them back I had to put them all back together. So that's really all you're seeing here is the end result of that. You see the brakes back on, the axle shafts are back in it, and then of course this is the rotors on there. At some point I'll get around to actually painting those. There's kind of a coating on it, but it's not really that good. So at some point I'll get around to painting those, but it's not really on my high priority list right now, especially since they're just buried under a shelf in the basement right now, only to be pulled back out in the spring when it's time to do work on them again. And then of course it turned to winter. Now this video was taken about the end of December, early January, somewhere in that time frame, and at this time there was only like a couple inches of snow on the ground. Since then, we've gotten several feet of snow. If you're not aware, we're based out of Massachusetts, and which is in the northeast of the United States, and we've gotten a lot of snow this year. So when I had decided to take this little, video sequence with my GoPro camera, there's only a few inches of snow on the ground, but since then we've gotten much, much more snow. Those snowbanks that were in the driveway at the time, those are probably, maybe a foot tall at the time. Come back here now, all of those snowbanks are, taller than, they're taller than me, so they're like 6-7 feet tall. There's a lot of snow. But it's great because that means there's a lot of snowmobiling, which is a nice, change of events or change of direction that the winters have been taking the past few years. So it's been good. So in terms of where the project's going, obviously the first thing I'm going to end up doing, or rather what I've been doing, is just been buying parts. Like tomorrow, as I speak now, it's, what's today, the 22nd? Or not the 22nd, the 23rd. So on the 24th of February, I will have new steering set up for the Jeep when it's, the front axle's under the Jeep. I ordered a 1-ton steering setup from Serious Off-Road Products, the same company that made the long arms that are going to go under the Jeep. Very beefy. Very beefy, I will say. The guy does nice work. Check him out. SeriousOffRoadProducts.com. So that's going to be a thing. And then I have to order front shocks, at least. The rear shocks I'm going to be able to get away with because I ordered different mounts for the shocks that actually suck the bottom shock mounts up to the level of the axle tube, which is about 3 inches, because as the way the XJ is set up now, the rear shock mounts hang low, or lower than the axle tube by like 3.5 inches. So the mounts I have now bring that bottom or rear shock mount up to axle tube level. So I'll be able to save the, or reuse rather, the shocks that I have under the Jeep now, and I'll only need to end up getting front ones. I also need to get new brake lines, because I do have extended brake lines on the Jeep now, but they were only designed to go the lift height I currently have, so I'll need to get another set of extended brake lines, and then I need to get, what is it? I'll end up needing to get another drive shaft, and I gotta get all the brake parts for the front axle. So that's what I've been doing, just in the process of ordering all those things. In terms of work, the next thing I'm gonna end up doing is having the, front truss on the axle welded on. I'm probably going to do the work to tack it on myself, so I'm satisfied with how it's mounted, and the things like the angles are correct and the brackets are in the right place. And I'll probably bring it to somebody who'll do it, finish welding off professionally. I toyed with the idea of doing it myself, but ultimately I decided it'd be better to just, have it done professionally at a professional, or by a professional welder, as opposed to doing it myself. But that's neither here nor there. but that's that. That's where the project's been. That's where it's going to be going. So I'm pretty much starting as soon as the snow starts to melt. Really, I'll pull the axles out and get the truss tacked onto the front axle, and then I'll bring it someplace to have the rest of the welding done. By then I should have at least all the parts for the rear end, and I'll be able to pull the Jeep up on the concrete and start taking it apart. But that's that. This has been part 11 of the Jeep Wagoneer axles under the XJ project. Be sure to give us a like, subscribe if you want to see more. Goodbye.